Hello, it has been so long since we've spoken. I mean, gosh, what, last 3 weeks. 3 weeks since we've talked. Too long, man. 3 weeks too long. And you know what? I'm going to take the fall on that because it was my fault. Fortunately, in some cases, absence does make the heart grow fonder. I hope this is one of those cases. If it's not, I hope we can rebuild our relationship. Now, on to business. Last week I made a brand new blog, never one of its kind before, and as a result, got a lot of people freaking out about it. So, I want to finally put those anxieties to rest and interpret this blog. And if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you see it before you see the interpretation, because number one, you'll interpret it a different way than I will. Guarantee it. At least some part of it will be different. And number two, you just lose all the mystery. It's more fun when you don't know what's going on. Are you ready? Here we go. So to begin at the beginning, the title of this video is "The Mind is Like a Lake." It's not exactly the most thought-provoking of titles, but I mean that's what this is about. So that's the title. And we're moving on to the actual lake itself, and what we see is that in the beginning, the lake is completely blank. There are some cattails, there's some grass growing there, but other than that, there's not much going on. Nothing, in fact. And then we see the fish. Each individual mind has the potential to create something brand new that's never been before seen, and this fish represents that ability, that spirit inside that person. The bird is an outside individual who can actually feel the effect of that spirit inside this person. As it is, the bird is coming in and eating the fish, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this outside individual is coming in and feeding off the person. Merely take some sort of pleasure in the fact that this mind is in existence. Similarly, the little man comes in exploring. He's got his bristled hat on. He comes in and he looks at the lake and he says, "Oh, what a nice lake." He takes off his hat, wipes his brow, and takes a nap right by the lake because the lake is fun to be around. And then he is refreshed by the lake. He goes in and takes a drink. After he's taken his drink, puts his hat back on, and he's back on his way. The bird and the man are just people that this lake affects in a positive way. The lake is serving these individuals. They are able to come and be refreshed by the natural characteristics of this lake, that it stores fish and that it has cool water and a beautiful scenery. All things that the lake was kind of born with. You didn't really have to do anything to get that. Now the cloud represents time, the passage of time, and also the passage of events. What this signifies is that things are going to be occurring throughout its life. And one thing that begins to occur is the effect of pollution. Now these cans are important. You'll notice that nobody is actually throwing the cans in to the lake. Nothing is actually physically polluting the lake. The lake is simply allowing itself to be polluted. And as we go on, we'll see more effects of this. Now eventually the lake has several cans in it. They're all basically representing small problems in this lake's life, in this mind. Small character traits that make it less desirable to be around. Insignificant lies, gossiping, making fun of people, constantly looking for problems rather than opportunities. Small things that are considered normal, basically. Soon, we stop seeing cans being thrown in, and we see a tire thrown in. Now, what we know about a tire is that they're very, very, very difficult to decompose. I mean, they're made to be rough and tough and withstand all the damage that they have to incur over their lifetime. And what happens is the tire just gets stuck there. Now this is a bit more noticeable than just a can in the water. The tire is representative of a much larger problem. It's far more noticeable, it's far more ugly looking, and if you've ever seen a lake with a tire sticking out of it, you know that it's been neglected for quite a while. This tire could represent a growing addiction to anything that's very selfish, self-serving, some sort of habit that detracts from a person's ability to serve. And then we see the cloud come back again, and it is obviously darker. The darkness of the cloud is indicative of the severity of the pollution, and it passes by once more, indicating further passage of time and further passage of events. And then we see the vehicle being backed into the lake. Having a broken down, rusty old car sticking out of a lake was kind of the last straw. It's like, okay, alright, this thing is messed up. Needs a total overhaul. And this is when everything suddenly becomes very, very clear to the outside world. This person is having a lot of issues. If you walk by a lake and you see a car sticking half out of it, you know something is up. And once again, this car represents some sort of selfish activity that the mind is now dependent on for satisfaction. Now, I wasn't exactly sure how to display a complete and total pollution of the lake. I was considering having a sewage truck back up and just pump all of its sewage into this lake. But in the end, I feel like this got its point across. This is kind of the point of no return, where nothing that is pulled out of the lake could possibly save it from further pollution. This lake is as polluted as it will ever get. Addiction to drugs, alcohol, suicidal, depression, basically at the end of the rope. And you'll notice that the sewage, or whatever this is, falls only in one place, but it spreads to every single facet of the mind. Because that's exactly what depression does. When a mind is hopeless, every aspect of life takes on that hopeless characteristic. And then we see the man again. The man comes by, and he sees the lake that he once stopped and relaxed by, and actually refreshed himself at, and he looks at it. And then he continues walking. He has no intention of stopping. He wants to get away from the lake. He can't stand looking at it. You know, so often I see posts on Facebook of people that are desperate. They feel incredibly lonely. They feel like the whole world has turned against them. When it's like they're just a polluted lake. Their mind is so nasty that nobody can stand being around them. And the natural inclination is to blame the other people. You know, to blame the guy who's walking by. Or to blame the bird who doesn't come and swim in your lake anymore. For someone to come and refresh him or herself in this lake would be poisonous to that person. Now we see the cloud again. And the cloud's going to do something a little bit different this time.
You're unbelievable.